Now I will request the next speaker, Mr. Sri Bhartiya. He is from NIT Patna, presently working as executive engineer. He has worked in various projects, various cantonments, Ranchi, Ahmednagar, then in Kerala and in the Delhi cantonment. I request him to make his presentation, please.
So, when you go to Ejimala, the first impression is of awe. You look at the beauty, you look at the natural beauty, you look at the natural resources. But when as a civil engineer, I started working there, the beauty part got lost and I got a depression that how, while developing a new cantonment, how we have ruined the nature, how we have developed the cantonment in a unsustainable way. So, for the case for rainwater harvesting at Naval Academy got in my mind. The water requirement at Ejimala, the present water requirement 2.5 MLD, then at the full capacity of the cantonment that it has not developed yet, it will be 5.5 MLD. But however, the total water that is being received at INA is from Kerala Water Authority, that is around 36 kilometers away. So a separate pipeline has been laid. However, this water supply is fluctuating according to spatial, temporal and quantum variations in rainfall. And the most important point is that despite having in a heavy rainfall area, we have no rainwater harvesting scheme planned there, not executed, not planned. So what we come here as an unsustainable approach to develop infrastructure. So the next step which got in my mind, what I can do. So I tried to develop a rainwater harvesting scheme as a sustainable approach for Naval Academy. So the point is that INA had been envisaged as National Monument of Global Standard. We have 4 to 6 months of monsoon at Ejimala, and the long-term annual average rainfall at INA is staggering, 496 centimeters. So at Delhi, if we haven't gone to Ejimala, we cannot imagine what a 496 centimeter annual average rainfall is. So adding to that is our catchment area is approximately 2,500 acres. That is a huge land resources, and as told in the inaugural session also, in cantonments we are wasting land while developing infrastructure. So this is also my point. So if we go about the quantum of rainfall, a simple calculation shows that in an average normal rainfall year, we have around 4.67 meter of rainfall, and it amounts to 129.5 MLD. And in a deficient year that was in 2012 when I was there, it was around 3,300 millimeter. So that amounts to 100 MLD. So our requirement at peak load is only 5.5 MLD, and we are getting from nature 100 MLD. And if we include the losses, then it amounts to around 850 in a rainfall deficient year, and that amounts to also 23.55 MLD. So we are getting approximately 4 times of our requirement even in a rainfall deficient year. And the geomorphology of INA Ejimala suits rainwater harvesting, and as a planner, as a civil engineer, it is golden chance to work at such a place where you find every kind of terrain, every kind of geomorphology, from sea coast to mangroves to backwaters to lateritic hills. And the existing infrastructure, that is drainage system, to aid. One thing, the planner, the consultant, that party did a wonderful job in planning the drainage system, but that drainage ultimately goes to seas without any harvesting being done. So the salient features of rainwater harvesting at Ejimala would be, we have 2 parts, groundwater recharge and rainwater storage of rainwater harvesting. However, the geomorphology of Ejimala run suits to rainwater recharge, because it is lateritic, we don't have any confined aquifer, and whatever groundwater recharge being done naturally, ultimately it goes to sea. And it has been calculated that from the highest point of Ezimala in 2.5, approximately 2.5 hours, all the rainfall reaches the sea. So we don't have much scope there. So what we need to have rainwater storage along with delay of runoff, and delay of surface runoff as well as delay of subsurface flow. That we have to see. So the topography already I have covered there. We have highly porous and fragmented lateritic top, and that doesn't suits our groundwater recharge part. Then there is limitation also. Beyond a certain point, you cannot aid groundwater recharge because it will start to landslides. So only scope is there delaying the surface as well as subsurface flow, so that we can use it in the lean period. Now what we can do there, we can store in subsurface dam, a new concept I learned there, and I explored the ways that, and I found that we have ample opportunity there to have subsurface dam, and that is open reservoir, that is common thing. Then we have age-old wisdom there. There are many open well system. Those have water even in the peak dry summer season also, and in the 2012 drought kind of situation we survived there on those few dug wells. Then according to the watershed, small watersheds in which the area can be divided, we can develop a combined system of extraction from dug wells. And the most important point here is that because Ezimala is at a coastal area, we have to plan recharge as well as extraction not to allow seawater ingress in the groundwater. Now this is the contour map, 10-meter contour map of Ezimala. So what I did according to the geomorphology and the contour, I planned in 7 small watersheds. In the first watershed, you can see it is a valley kind of thing, and you can see we have some old quarries where the dug up material during the construction has been filled up, and which we can use as a aquifer. However, as you can see, within 1 week of rainfall and no rainfall area, the water fluctuates or water seeps very quickly. So what we can do, local innovation, what we can do, we have one subsurface barrier. As you can see here, we can have one subsurface barrier of clay material, part of a lateritic soil there only. So when water seeps, we can put up a clay subsurface where we can excavate a trench, we can put up a granular graded clay subsurface barrier, and it stops or it reduces up to 100 times the flow of water. So in the second watershed, it is at the coastal belt. Here you can see it is Arabian Sea and we have hilly terrains here. So in the second watershed, actually we are receiving from around 50% of the area, we are receiving surface flow reaching to the sea through this area, and we don't have much scope here. We have sandy soil, and we have backwaters also in this area. In the third part, or in the third watershed, we can see it is a valley kind of thing, and we can have one small dam also. And in the dam, I studied there that there are natural old pre-Aine wells where the water flow is like that, that as we go up, the water level reduces very quick in the wells. And one innovative kind of thing is that there are contour bunds which are there to reduce the surface and subsurface flow. And there is one grass called vetiver grass, which has very deep and thick root system, which stops the flow of water, reduces, and it aids to contour bands also. Similarly, there are other zones also. One, if time permits, I will only discuss the last one, the seventh. So we have a new kind of thing, subsurface dam. We know all what surface dams, but it is a new. I will not say it is new. It is an old thing, but it is not in vogue in planning. So what we do, we have subsurface dam is constructed above the ground, but we have subsurface dam below the ground. And what happens when soil permits, it is a sandy soil, it permits flow below the subsurface. So what we do, we keep the top of the subsurface dam at least 1.5 meters depending on the water table, so that the extra water doesn't accumulate here and it overflows, leaving the land above dry. So it is a new kind of thing, so there is ample opportunity there also. This is one area, you can see the dates also. That is peak area. April to May is the peak area, summer during Tezimala, and you can see even there in that peak summer also we have water below. So what we can do, we can plan and we can link the infrastructure development of the future with rainwater harvesting project if we want a sustainable development of water resources and want to be independent of KWS supply. However, my studies are limited to areas where my works led me. Scientific study, proper scientific study of subsoil is required. And evaporation and seepage losses, and a new water distribution system of each. In my view, we can plan a small water distribution system supplying to localized watersheds. So that is, thank you.